All right, Eric's Football, we're back live with you. This is Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. Rick speaking.
I am Body in the house, about to drop some knowledge. Always make sure you subscribe as we continue to bring content to you, soccer content, obviously. That's what we know best. So let's get this going, boss.
All right. Well, one thing to talk about to begin with Champions League. We had two interesting games. Benfica versus Ajax, which if you're a mutual, this is one of the best games you could have watched. Both teams going at it back and forth, full throttle, nobody really holding back. And then the second game was Atletico Madrid and Manchester United. Let's start with the Benfica Ajax game, shall we?
Don't forget yesterday's games too. Benfica Ajax, it was what Haller got that own goal.
Yeah, he scored twice.
I
Once for and
know.
once against.
I know. I was happy for him. He's been having a banger of a season, and the guy struggled out in the Premier League when he was at West Ham, right?
Yep.
Yeah, when he was at West Ham. He struggled there, and now he went back to Ajax, and he looks like a Ferrari, man. I think he might still be the leading scorer in the Champions League this year.
I believe he is.
Yeah, I think he is. So that's pretty impressive. I think a 2-2 scoreline, it's not too bad. I mean, Ajax saved that. I thought, they were going to let it go when that own goal happened. But the good thing is that they're on the road, they got their away goals. So overall, they should be in pretty good shape. I think when they go home, they should be able to take care of business back home, get a simple win, and call it a day and move on, which would be pretty impressive because they did go through a pretty big rebuild the past 2 years. To be right back here again, you have to give them credit, the academy, their scouting team, credit to rebuild that fast to be in this position.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to confirm, Aller is the top goal scorer at the moment. He has 10 goals, one of which coming from a PK. Technically, he has 11 goals if you count the own goal, but I don't think they count him that way. Lewandowski second with 9. Mo Salah is third with 8. Christopher Nkunku is fourth with 7. And then Riyad Mahrez and Cristiano Ronaldo are tied for fifth with 6 apiece. So it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, not bad at all. You want me to hit that United game too?
I mean, yeah. So I was telling you earlier, we watched the first half of this one while I was at work, and I honestly couldn't believe it. United were so bad. And I was expecting this to be a good or a fun game because both teams have been struggling a little bit. So I thought it was going to be like the Benfica Ajax game where both teams just, you know what, fuck it. We're just going to play full guns blazing, see who comes out on top. But as we talked about, Atletico came out with a little bit of strategy to try to mitigate United's attack, and it seemed to work pretty well. And then they were able to string together a few opportunities, and Griezmann hit the post, João Felix with the header. United didn't carve out a whole lot of notice. And Victor Lindelof, as a right back in the past couple games, has made more overlapping runs and more combinations in 2 games than Wan-Bissaka has had in 2 years, which is just ridiculous to me. So when I saw Victor Lindelof, laying the ball off out wide, continuing his run, doing these little combinations, I'm like, where's Wan-Bissaka? He should be taking notes, looking at what Lindelof is doing, because he's getting the ball advanced in higher positions, creating difficult 2-against-1 scenarios for the opposition. If somebody who was a little bit better technically could create that for United from right back position, they'd be able to create so much more chances. But the problem is Lindelof usually plays center back, so you don't get that. Shaw is struggling. Tellez, I thought, did a lot better. His service, I think, is a little bit better off the cross than Luke Shaw's. So that was a positive. Pogba kind of got marked out of the game. You saw him getting double teamed quite a bit. but the few moments he did have space to pick his head up and find passes, he found a couple of very good diagonal switches of the ball. I remember one to Fernandez actually, where he chested down and had a shot that was saved by All Black, but not a whole lot to speak of on United's behalf.
I mean, yeah, I could see why he played Lindelof. I personally think just from the way, obviously, both you and I coach, the way from a coach's perspective is he was probably thinking he might eventually go to a three in the back if needed. Because the past couple of times when they had leads and stuff and he needed to protect it, he went to a three in the back. So if Lindelof can hold on, you get a lead and you decide to go to the three in the back, then you don't have to make that extra sub. You can sub in all the areas. That was the thought process behind it. I personally think Lindelof, the way Lindelof plays, I think he's probably one of the Paul Pogba and Sancho aside, the third most technical, in my opinion, in terms of with the ball. He can pick a pass. So I personally think if I was coaching United, I'll convert Lindelof to a holding midfield. I'll turn him into a 6. Then I'll have the protection. I'll have Dallo. I thought Luke Shaw was bad. Harry Maguire once again at fault, and Luke Shaw on the goal. He let Felix run across him. Simple thing. Felix is a skinny youth, man, and he just watched him run across. But before then, the cross came in. The cross wasn't an offside to begin with because Luke Shaw did what he normally does. He just hangs back there for whatever reason, and he kept him on, so they crossed it in. Maguire lets Felix come across. I do like Telles better. I think Telles is a better going forward, and defensively it's not bad, but Luke Shaw has been that for 7 years, 8 years. I mean, how much longer does he need? My issue I have with Telles is because he's so technically gifted on the ball with his services and crosses, he tends to just get the ball and cross it in, where sometimes he has like space in front of him that he could probably dribble forward a little bit more. He goes right away to the cross, but overall, if I was the coach, I'll play him. I think Dallo probably didn't play today because defensively, the coach realized they'll be a little bit under pressure. But in the midfield, like we said, Pogba marked out. Atletico are pretty strategic to go, you know what, we'll have Bruno and Fred have the ball, and we know they can find a split and pass. And then Rashford doing his usual dummy stuff, trying to dribble through humans, which it has never worked, but he keeps trying to dribble 4 or 5 players. So disappointing display in terms of performance, but the results they should be happy about. I think when they go back,
Yeah,
I pull it off at home. So that was
they stole one for sure.
Exactly.
All right. Well, as you mentioned, there were a couple other games yesterday. Villarreal, Juventus, 1-1. Juve took the lead early in the first minute. Vlahovic with a very instinctive finish. And then they kind of let Villarreal hang around. They weren't really pushing to put them to bed or put the game to rest. Villarreal did their usual thing. They fought back, able to find a goal from Danny Parejo in the second half, and 1-1. Was it a good result for Juventus? Should they have done better?
I watched the first half of that one, and then I pretty much ended up watching most of the Chelsea one. I thought once they went up 1-0, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty much done. They'll probably go and slap them, get 2 more, get a 3-0 win, go back home, be comfortable, and not be in the same position they were against Porto last year. They did the same thing where they went away, didn't get the results, came home thinking we could easily do it, and they got shocked out of the Champions League. So you'd have thought that they would have learned to go, you know what, let's get the second one, maybe a third one, just to be more secure, because they're not having the strongest season. They're back in the top 4 in Italy, but they're not as formidable as they used to be. Teams are not as afraid of them. So any window they leave open, I think a team could shock them. And what's his name? Villarreal and Emery. Emery knows how to play that European competition, regardless if it's Champions League or Europa League, with his 4-4-2 setup. once he gets it going, it's very hard to beat. So I was surprised they didn't take advantage when they scored their first goal that early in the game. So results wise, I don't think it was a good result for Juventus, even though they were on the road. I thought they could have gotten way more out of it.
Yeah. Overall, I think the balance of the game was even. Possession, Villarreal was a little bit better, it was 54 to 46%. And then shots, Villarreal had 9, Juve had 7, Villarreal had 3 on target, Juve had 2 on target. So overall, pretty balanced game. But like you were saying, this is a game that Juventus, after scoring so early, really should have done a little bit more to extend their lead. So I think they've got a little bit of work to do yet.
Exactly. And then what the other one was Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea and Leo.
Yeah, that was a bad game, man. Leon had they have some ballers on that team, bro. Renato Sanchez is back to his old self. I remember him way back when I was playing in Germany when he was making his scene as a young kid, and now he looks like he got his confidence back. Playing at he's slimmer now. Playing at a very high level. I thought he dominated the middle, but bro, it's hard to do what you want to do when you have Conte in the middle. The guy, I wonder how many miles he ran yesterday because he was all over the place, bro. Like he covered a lot of ground all over. Good result for Chelsea. They get a lead on you. You might as well call it done. I think both you and I have agreed. They're a tournament team. And in these situations, they're very hard to beat. Their coach is very tactical. Once he gets that lead on you, forget it. So I think Chelsea's probably feeling pretty comfortable. The one at home, they got their goal. So I think they're pretty comfortable that even if they have to go on the road and just get a 0-0, they should be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think over the balance of play, Leo had too many clear-cut chances. Leo shot a bunch of shots, just not very many on target. I believe they had 15 total shots with only 2 on target. And like you said, it was actually a pretty well-contested game. Possession was 51% to 49% in Chelsea's favor. So not that far off. Was just the last piece of it, the final third. Leo was really struggling for their forwards to connect. Jonathan Bamba on one side, Renato Sanchez, or after he got subbed off, Hatem Ben Arfa on the other, Jonathan David up front, and Barak Yilmaz, who eventually came on. You know, all quality players, lots of experience within that front line. They just struggled to create any clear-cut opportunities against Chelsea. And like you said, that's Tuchel's thing. If he can press you hard like they did in the beginning, Havertz had like 5 or 6 chances in the first 10 minutes. He honestly
should have put a couple of those.
He could have had a hat trick in the first 10 minutes, you know, and Chelsea was just pressing the life out of Lille. And eventually, after they got the goal, Chelsea started to, relax a little bit, let Lille have some of the ball. Not press on the front foot as much as they were in the first 15. So I think that kind of made the game look a little more balanced. But Tuchel, like you said, he's fine with that. He has his lead. He's comfortable. They eventually added a second, and now they go into the second leg with a little bit more comfort. So it'll be, I think, straightforward for Chelsea to close this one out, unless Leo come out with a lot of fire in the second one.
Yeah, I mean, once Chelsea got their lead, man, bro, that Rudiger guy, man, he's a classic shithousery, man. Some of the stuff he does, bro. But unfortunately, to be honest, every team needs a player like him. That's what I think. If you want to go back to United, they have it in Eric Berry, but he's always hurt. You almost need that player that goes, you know what? I'm just gonna, even though I'm playing for Manchester United, I'll have a Burnley type of player mindset, just do all the dirty work and don't care about it. One time he fouled, he literally pushed the player and ran away like he didn't do anything. I'm like, bro, very nice and clear, but it's those type of players when you see players giving like that type of effort, giving everything on the field. It's
Yeah.
not just passion, but he picked a few long diagonal passes. Pretty impressive, which in the past he didn't really have that in his game. But since Tuchel came, he's added that to his game and he's getting even more goals. He's getting some more into the box for a center back than I'm used to seeing. But obviously, it's instructions from his coach to push up, be brave, and take chances. So I think that's a good result for Chelsea, and they will close it out to the next round. I think all the best round games are set up pretty poised nicely to have some pretty fun games.
All right. Next week's games for Champions League, we've got the second legs. Liverpool, Inter Milan. Who do you see coming out on top of that one?
Yeah, I think Liverpool has the lead.
Liverpool up 2-0.
Yep, the 2-0. They'll close that one out easy. I don't see Inter Milan coming back to win that one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it actually might even get embarrassing, kind of similar to what they did today in the Premier League to Leeds. Inter Milan's going to come out with a lot of heat, a lot of fire, trying to press, get the goals back, and they're just going to smack them up on the counterattack. So I actually see that one getting a little ugly, perhaps, if Inter, stretch the game a little too much. Bayern, Salzburg, 1-1 going into the second leg.
I think Bayern Munich will come out, take care of business, probably a 2 or 3-0 win, nice and easy.
Yeah, they've been struggling a little bit though.
That's not next week. That's in 2 weeks. Sorry, the next round.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Sorry, maybe. Yeah, but Bayern has been struggling a little bit lately. At the weekend against Greuther Fürth, I think the bottom place team in Bundesliga, they went down a goal, and it wasn't until 10, 15 minutes into the second half that they got one of the goals back and started to work their way back into the game. So I think Bayern, yes, will get it done against Salzburg, but I don't think it's going to be straightforward. There's going to be some drama in there. PSG, Real Madrid.
That's the one that I'm looking forward to, is that PSG Real Madrid. I think, unfortunately, that's almost like that would have been a great semifinal or even a final matchup. I think PSG going on the road, already having the first leg win, I think we'll go and it depends on Benzema's health, but I think if Neymar probably start that game, I think they'll win. I think it'll probably be a 2-0 game for PSG, or 2-0 or 2-1. That's what I see.
Yeah. And then City Sporting.
City will probably play the academy team and they'll still probably 2-0. I don't think it will be a blowout. I think Sporting will come to save face, so they'll probably just set up a low block to go, we're already out, but let's not be a team that got knocked out 10-0, something like that. So they'll set up a low block, trying to concede as few as possible and maybe even get one just to make it look respectable. But that one is over.
I agree with you on that one. So like you mentioned, a couple of weeks before Champions League action returns, so we'll have a break next week and then the week after second leg return. Let's do a little roundup on all the leagues here for this. What do we got? Last 10 minutes or so. Just catch up on all the league action going on. Liga, that's probably the most comfortable one right now. PSG ahead by 13 points.
Yeah, those guys, I don't see anybody bothering them. They should finish it out with no issues. I'm a little concerned. Well, not concerned. It might come back to hunt them in Champions League because they're getting through. Normally they get through pretty easily, but one thing I am a little bit more comfortable with this year for them is that they haven't won a lot of games by blowouts, even though they have their stars. They haven't to score a lot of last minute goals and stuff just to pull off wins. So hopefully that'll set them up better for the Champions League than it has in the past, where they used to win 5-0 and then all of a sudden they get their first hard opponent, and then everything falls apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, that league it's a wrap. So then Qatar money or wherever the money is coming from, they can rest easily.
No, I mean, I was thinking the same thing about PSG, that they don't really get challenged too often going into the late stages of the Champions League. But I actually really appreciated the way they played against Real Madrid. I thought they were the dominant team
Yeah,
throughout. I thought that they were almost always on the front foot. There were a few times when they tried, some little tiki taka at the, top of the box to try to break Real Madrid down. And if any of those goals would have went in, it would have been a goal of the season contender because they were just out there balling. So if they can keep up that kind of intensity as the knockout stages go on, I think they could have a special season. Let's see who's the next closest or not so close. Bundesliga, 6 points between Dortmund and Bayern. Bayern
yeah,
a little bit shaky. I see you're shaking your head yourself. But
yeah. They
you
had a
think
pretty
Dortmund
big
can close
lead.
the gap? 6 points.
They had a big lead, but they've stumbled a couple of times for the past 3 weeks. But I still think they'll win the league comfortably. I think Dortmund, as always, what they lost their if not this week, the week before, it's like when the opportunity they always excuse me, they always find a way to F it up. So they're almost nearly team. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but I think the last 3 weeks, Bayern gave them a big window. Take their mentality compared to we'll get to Premier League, Liverpool's mentality. City opened up the door a little bit, and now they've brought it back to within 3 points. And that shows you that they have a winning mentality. They're used to it. They spot a weakness, they attack. That was the perfect time for Dortmund to, go ahead, Bayern. Because I think the first one Bayern dropped was on a Friday and Dortmund played on a Saturday. And then they didn't get the result. But you have to play that game like a final and go. They got that result, they would have been within 3 points. They still have to play each other a second time. So you go, well, if we all win out, and we play each other, whoever wins that wins the league. That's how I will be thinking as a team, but then they let it get away from them. So they do keep getting injuries. Reina came back and got hurt again. So that's unfortunate for them, that every time someone seems to come back, someone else gets hurt. So they've never really had their full team all season. So, but I think Bayern Munich will finish up that league very nice and easy and call it a day.
Yeah. So was it the first game back? Yeah, the first game back after the winter break in Germany, they Bayern lost 2-1 against Gladbach. And that kind of opened the door for Dortmund to make up some ground. They won a couple games, but then they started slacking. And then just maybe 10 days ago or so, Bayern lost against Bochum, right? And that was the one that really, Dortmund should have been, like, all right, guys, let's fucking go get these points back. And really, instead of taking the initiative to go, you know what, this is our opportunity. A few days after Bayern lost against Gladbach, Dortmund lost against St. Pauli.
Yep, that's the one.
And a few days after Bayern lost to Bochum, they lost 5-2 against Leverkusen.
Okay.
They're
Those two games, they get a result in those two games, they would have been tied on
they're
points.
tied, exactly. And then it just comes down to the last, Der Klassiker. But, like you said, every time they get a chance to reel them closer and have that kind of elite, championship winners mentality, like, all right, you guys slipped up. Now we're going to mop the floor with you. But that doesn't seem to be the case with Dortmund. So I wish we could say it was going to be a closer one, but I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I think that one is a wrap.
La Liga. Madrid, 6 points.
Madrid, yeah.
Sevilla.
Yeah, they picked up the gap close and then they extended it a little bit. I think most likely Madrid will win it, especially I'm anticipating them probably going out of the Champions League. And if they go out of the Champions League, man, Don Perez will down himself, Mafia Perez, will for sure fire Ancelotti. That guy don't fuck around, man. Get knocked out of the round of 16 Champions League will be a no-no for him, which I
Yeah.
think complicates stuff for United because if he does, if Poch beats him, he will go after Poch. That'll be the move. So I think they'll probably lose out of Champions League, which will make them really focus on the league and try and close it out. So I think they'll end up winning that. Sevilla will give them a run for it, but I don't think they will be able to catch them.
Yeah. And Barcelona, who we thought would just barely slip into top four, actually now look like they're chasing, Real Betis for that third place spot.
Yep.
So Barcelona sit on 46 points with a game in hand over Atleti, Villarreal, and Athletic Bilbao. I think Barcelona could very, very realistically take that third place spot.
I think they will too.
If Xavi can get him there.
Yeah, they've been playing some good ball, moving it around. And Aubameyang had a hat trick the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like things are clicking. Memphis Depay still not back. Dembele didn't get his he didn't get sold like he wanted to. And it seems like, they've all agreed that while you're here, we want to use it because he's way too talented to just have a grudge and have him sit. And he's been balling out. So they're looking good. Their young players are balling. The soccer is better. It looks like the Barcelona we know. I think they'll probably finish third, and then that'll be a big boost for them. Get third, maybe go after Haaland or somebody big to just, make that announcement like, hey, we're not going anywhere, we're back, or it's just a short period out. Then they can move from there because they have the foundation. If you look at the young players on the team, they have quite a lot of young players.
Mm-hmm.
And each year they'll get stronger. And these are all under 20, under 25, under 24. Younger, because even what's his name? Ferran Torres, I think is 21 or 22.
Yeah, he's also very young.
So they're pretty really young. So yeah, that'll be good for them. To finish third will not be bad at all. Atletico Madrid, I thought will be top four, but boy, they've All Black has given them more goals than he's made saves this year. That's crazy. And normally that's what they're known for. So definitely something has gone wrong. And I think they find it hard to recover in the league standpoint. But one of the things I thought about is that, man, Simeone works on so hard to defend, and it's the same old guys. Even if those players are 28, 29, they have Miles on their leg who is probably 31 or 32. So that's what I see with Klopp's teams also. They want so much that their body gives out faster than most other players. So
yeah, with Atletico Madrid, I actually think they're starting to suffer one of the issues I see at Manchester United, in that they're buying players not necessarily to play a certain style. Like right now they're stuck in between that, okay, do we stay with the old guard and keep playing the same way we've been playing, defend, that's our MO, we'll counter when we counter, versus now they're bringing in, players like João Felix, and they brought Griezmann back and Suarez, players who are a little bit more expansive, who want to get more touches on the ball, who want to possess the ball more. And they're almost stuck in that identity crisis where it's should we stick to what we know, or should we, try to fit the mold and play more progressive football? So I think, Simeone has a choice to make, and, either accept, the new changes and say, well, this is the new Atletico Madrid. We're going to start to play progressive football, be a little bit more expansive, or say, you know what? No, this isn't going to be how we're going to play. We're going to stick to what works for us. Get rid of a few players who are maybe a little bit more extravagant, easy on the eye, and bring in some more hard-nosed players who are going to, run their legs into the ground for 90 minutes.
The thing is, when they build that stadium, man, it's one of the best stadiums around. You got to pay for that shit. Well, how'd you do that? You can't pay for it with a whole bunch of Caucasian stuff. You need players that are creative players that people want to watch, that entertain people. So I think that's where they went after Felix for over 100 million. That's the reason behind those investments, to see if they can make more money on the marketing side of a football club. You know, we know the best at it is Manchester United. They buy players not just for the sake of if they're good or not. They buy players to sell jerseys. That's the reason why they buy the guys Zlatan, Ronaldo, Pogba, Sancho, you name it. These were all decisions made based on marketing. It wasn't, oh, this player actually is what we need. Because if it was a player that fits a position they need, they would have bought a whole midfield a long time ago. But what they keep buying Sancho, who else? Bringing Cavani, they keep bringing forward positions, Ronaldo positions that they overloaded on. I mean, nobody does that. And so I think that's kind of backfired. So probably they made more sales in terms of jerseys and stuff from these more creative players, expensive players, but then they lost on the footballing side, which in the long run loses you fans, because the fans come when you're winning. Simple as that. If you're not winning, if you go right now and you look for fans, clubs with the most fans under the age of, let's say, 15 years old, I bet you CDP and Barcelona and Real Madrid will be right up there, because they've been their clubs that have won the most the past few years. United probably doesn't crack top 10. So Arsenal used to be big ones. When they were winning, they're not winning. I don't see any 14-year-old kids saying I'm an Arsenal fan, because they grew up seeing Arsenal finishing fourth. People want to be fans of teams that win, unless you're from the city the team is in.
Yeah. Or if your parents force you to support that team.
Yeah. Well,
last one, Premier League. There are a few games today, 3 to be exact. Let's start with Robin Hood, Tottenham Hotspur. They they steal from the rich and they give to the poor.
Bro, how you gonna beat City? They beat City twice and then lose to Burnley. But like they always say, can you, when you get a player or a coach, you go, hey, can you go to Burnley on a Tuesday in the winter, cold, and get a result? And almost everybody has struggled there. The only team that has consistently been Burnley, the top team, is City. Outside of City, every single top team goes to Burnley, freaking struggle. And I mean, Burnley's a shit team, but they're hard to beat. They're good at what they do. So you got to give them credit. And Tottenham, man, that's soft mind. But I like what Conte said. He goes, hey, my future at Tottenham is in question, man. The guy has a winners mentality, and he's not going to stick around for this shit. You know, he left Inter Milan that won the league because they wanted to sell Lukaku to raise money, to make money, instead of spending money to get players in there to make an even bigger push in the Champions League and whatnot. So I probably think he's done after the season in Tottenham. If they don't invest and get him the experienced players, he's not under this. He doesn't buy into this youth stuff. You know, it's like he wants players that are ready to fight and play.
That's right. Well, as you saw, Burnley got the better of Tottenham 1-0. Second game, Watford, Crystal Palace, emphatic win, 4-1, pushing themselves further away from that relegation zone. Great result for Palace. I've been a huge fan of Patrick Vieira and what he's been doing there. I think if he was at a club, let's say the size of Everton or Aston Villa or even Brighton, and he had a little bit more money to spend, I think he would have a team in the top 6 in the Premier League, no doubt. What he's been able to do with the amount of resources he has been immaculate. And I've been telling people this, 5 years ago, if you argued which league is the best league in the world, I would tell you that I watch mostly the Premier League, but that's because of what's available to me 5 years ago. And now that I have more of the leagues available to me, even last season, I would probably say, La Liga, the quality of the teams, even the bottom teams, Elche or what have you, they're all trying to play good soccer. They're all trying to do nice possession style, things that are easy on the eye, fun to watch. 4 years ago, I wasn't watching Wolverhampton Wanderers against Fulham FC, but this season I'll watch Brentford, I'll watch Palace, I'll watch Brighton, I'll watch Leeds. These are teams that maybe a few years ago you didn't want to turn on the TV to watch, but now I actually will watch those games because I know they're going to play good football. So now I can actually make an argument and say the Premier League has improved for this very reason. The teams
But
are watchable.
yeah, but if you look at all those teams that you just named, what's the difference from 5 years ago? I think every team that you just named in the Premier League
Foreign
is
coaches
about
mostly.
foreign coaches, right? In the past, it used
No,
to
no
be,
more Tony Pulis.
yeah, oh, except for Frank Lampard, man. That guy is going to get Everton relegated. I keep telling people that I
Don't get
go,
close. Yeah.
he's not a good coach, bro. Ever since when Ole was there, Lampard was there, I said, um, Arteta is the best coach out of the three of them, those player coaches that all those three clubs hired, because you can actually see he has ideas of what he wants to do. Ole is the worst coach out of all of them, but he tried his best to manage the players a little bit better. The problem is that he became their best friend, so they didn't listen to him. Lampard, I thought, was in between. He wasn't a really good man manager, and he wasn't a really good coach. Like, he was okay at everything, which that's what I thought he was as a player too. He was okay at everything. He wasn't great. What made Lampard look extraordinary is because of the goals he was scoring from midfield, similar to what Bruno is doing nowadays. But Lampard wasn't even on the same planet in terms of football, and at least in my opinion, as Steven Gerrard or Paul Scholes and them.
I agree.
But when somebody look at the stats, they go, well, he had more goals than all of them, making those late runs. I go, there's more to football than the late runs or those goals. But since now football is slowly becoming all stats, that's why he's up there. So yeah. What's the other game? The other one that made me laugh was Liverpool, bro. They just smack Leeds around 6-0. United is giving up 2 goals to lead on average every time we play them. This guy's going to go, yo, just hold 6 real quick. It's like,
Yeah.
and now they have the goal difference advantage. So if they were to win out all their games, they win the league. They have 1 game to play City. If they get a result in that, which I think will be hard for them. Well, before I said it would be hard for them to get, I think 2 weeks ago when we talked. But now that they have DS, man, that guy is a baller, bro. I think now it gives them a little bit more firepower. When he has to make substitutions, or even if he starts him and sit Mane or whoever he sits, they'll bring somebody off the bench and be a game changer, which is where Liverpool always struggled. Was they never had those attacking players to sub into games. And the first move was Jota. Now they have Diaz. Slowly you can see they have a front 6 that they can easily rotate and not have any issues. So looking forward to that matchup.
No, and I like the comparison using United's 4-2 win over Leeds to Liverpool's 6-0 win over Leeds today. People, like you always say, have amnesia, and they go, oh, United, they had a great performance. They started very well, and then they slipped up a little bit, but then, at the end they pulled through. And I'm like, well, that's actually the same that they've been doing in every game. And not to mention that first game of the season against Leeds, where they smacked them up pretty good, was very similar to the last game against Leeds just a few days ago. But people don't remember that.
Yeah.
And
last year was the same. Last year, I think it was 6-4 for United, and then 4-2. And then this year was 6-2 and 4-2. So pretty much results every single time that they play Leeds.
Right. And people were suggesting, oh, United have figured out how to score more goals and blah, blah, blah. They're more energetic, this and this. Leeds had 3 shots against Liverpool, 2 on target. Liverpool had 23 shots, 15 on target against Leeds. That's dominating a team. That's a team that belongs at the top. Yeah. United for me, didn't show that they belonged at the top playing against Leeds. They show that they could compete against Leeds, but this year isn't saying much, you know.
Yeah.
But the way Liverpool handled Leeds today, a couple of the goals they scored, some of the general play, this looks like a team that's ready to fight for the Premier League title. So I'm looking forward to it.
I still think City will probably win it though, to be honest. I think Liverpool has a better shot at Champions League than they do in the league. And Klopp has been there, 6-7 years. If he gets through 8 years and all he has to do show for it is 2 trophies, I will honestly say his time at Liverpool was a failure, to be honest. For how good they've been for so long, to only have 1 league and 1 league. In that time, Pep has 5 league titles now, or 4?
4, I believe.
He has 4. He doesn't have a Champions League. He has like 3 FA Cup. So if you name it, he's averaging 3 trophies a year at City, which is pretty impressive.
No, I think it'll be closer than you think, and I wouldn't necessarily say Klopp's time at Liverpool is a failure. You know, if he doesn't,
not a failure, but underwhelming. I should use underwhelming.
But look at where City was when Pep came in compared to where Liverpool was when Klopp came in. When Klopp came in, Liverpool was a 6th, 7th place team. When Guardiola came in, City was a title-winning team already. He just wanted to change the way they did it.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, Liverpool has had a 5-year run, right? Klopp first 2.5 years, 3 years that's when he was getting his people. And so 5, they've been at the very top for 5 years. And I think this is their last year, unless they retool, which looks like they're trying to do. But I think most of the experienced players are done after this year. Many of them, they've been going at the top for a while, and I think they'll be done after this year as top level players. So the question is, does he have enough time to retool? And then you have to add in that there's clubs that are getting stronger. Aston Villa keeps showing signs that I realize that I think Aston Villa has like the 3rd richest club in the Premier League, or the 2nd richest club, something like that. So they're even more money than the City people, and now they look like they want to start spending. So if Newcastle, which they look like they'll survive, like we said, what they'll do this summer, bro, it'll be worse than what Russia is trying to do to freaking Ukraine right now. Bro, they will invade the Premier League, man. Look at how much money they spend in January. Wait till they just need to change the uniform a little bit. That uniform is ugly, bro.
No, I agree with you on that one. But just to kind of set this up for the end of the season in the Premier League, I think it's going to go down to the very last second, the very last kick between City and Liverpool. So you've got that match where they face each other on Sunday, April 10th, right? Mm-hmm. That'll be obviously a big one. If City draw or win, I think you could put your hat on them going off to get the job done. If Liverpool win, though, I think it could go down to the last day. City finished their league campaign with Newcastle, West Ham, Aston Villa. Not an easy slate of fixtures there, but Liverpool finished theirs with Tottenham, Southampton, and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So,
man. Yeah, that'll be tough. Both are pretty tough, but I think Liverpool's is tougher.
Yeah, Southampton don't really
struggle against them.
Wolves don't really concede goals. The one where I think could be interesting is Tottenham, because like I mentioned earlier, they've been kind of the Robin Hoods, so maybe they decide to give Liverpool another favor. You know, they did the first favor in getting the league double over City, so maybe they do them another one by letting Liverpool smack them up.
Yeah.
So exactly. I don't know. We shall see. Well, that's it for today's show. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but as always, exciting things here on AX Football. We're still looking to grow our fan base, our community. So please, 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 if you can, like, comment, share, subscribe, uh, follow us on Instagram. Whatever support you can give us, we very much appreciate. Free content for you guys cost us a little bit of time and energy, so we appreciate all of the subscriptions and follows on social media.
As usual, we always come here to drop knowledge. It's our opinion. You can state your opinion in the comment section. You'll probably be wrong, but you can still state them. We'll tell you if you are. Subscribe, don't forget, and share with your friends. Anybody that likes soccer, that follows the game the way we do, share with them, and maybe we might even do a show with them. We want to keep growing the community, get people that enjoy the game the way we do. All right, peace.
All right, Eggs Football. See you guys next week.